Symbolic interactionism is the theory that human interaction and communication is facilitated by words, gestures, and other symbols that have required conventional meanings. The theory was developed by American philosopher George Herbert Mead and introduced into the American Society in Sociology in the 1920s. Symbolic interaction theory analyzes society by addressing the subjective meanings that people impose on objects, events, and behaviors. Why do people play Grand Theft Auto when Grand Theft Auto shows people putting themselves in dangerous situations? People play Grand Theft Auto because they are allowed to do anything they want in this free world environment. During the game, players put themselves in several heists in which they have to rob banks, break into government buildings such as the FBI, and other scenarios that are planned out like they would be in real life for large sums of money. Gamers are allowed to steal cars, go to strip clubs, buy houses and businesses just like we do in everyday life.
Grand Theft Auto 5 follows the crazy life of three criminals, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. Michael is a wealthy ex-con that tried to get himself out of the business by faking his own death. With his fake death, he was placed in Los Santos, San Andreas to start a new life. His old life soon caught up with him when he pulled down the house of who he thought was the tennis instructor that slept with his wife, but in reality, it was the house of the biggest drug lord in Los Santos. His life continues to change when his lazy, spoiled son buys a truck from a crooked dealer who sends two of his employees to steal it back so they can make more money off of him. What the employee does not realize is that he is waiting in the back of the truck because he knew his son had screwed up. When arriving back at the dealership, he confronts the dealer and beats him up to prove a point and put fear into his eyes. At this time, Michael also meets the second character in the game, Franklin, who was the employee that stole back his son's new truck. Franklin is an ex-gang member who is trying to leave his past behind him and get himself out of the hood. He is constantly reminded of his past and his old gang because of his best friend and coworker, Lamar. Franklin and Lamar are both struggling to support themselves and their families while working as full-time thieves. They both work for a dirty car dealer who pays them to repossess cars that he later sells back to the owners for a greater profit. This job does not allow Franklin to get away from his past. In fact, it brings him closer to his past when he has to steal a motorcycle from their rival gang. Franklin meets Michael after he repossesses his son's car. Michael is impressed with his driving ability and offers him a job helping him with heists. At first, Franklin does not like the offer because he is trying to get away from that kind of lifestyle. But when Michael tells him about the amount of money and how he can help him get out of the ghetto and better his life, he immediately accepts his offer.
One of the main characters in the game is Trevor Phillips. Trevor, who is Michael's best friend, is one crazy individual, and gamers found out that the very first time you meet him. Trevor is a complete psychopath who doesn't care about anyone who gets in his way of what he wants. He is the perfect example for symbolic interactionism because gamers know that if they were to attempt any of the stunts he pulls off in this game in real life, they would go to jail. One of the optional missions in the game is where Trevor has to kill off as many rednecks as possible as Trevor goes into rage mode.
These characters join together to pull off larger heists than ever before. They work together with Lester, who is the brains behind Michael and Trevor's old team. He plans out all of the heists and informs them of possible assistance to help them complete the job. Lester is a whiz with computers and is able to hack into various different systems to buy the group time to pull off the heist. The depth that Lester and the team go into is what causes this game to fit perfectly into the symbolic interactionism theory. These details show the gamer how to properly plan out these different heists, and even explains in detail how to go about executing them. Another big problem that causes this game to fit into the symbolic interactionism is the amount of games that were sold. This game had over 450,000 pre-ordered copies. Even before the game was even close to coming out, the company knew that they were going to make back all of the budget plus a large amount of additional profit. Compared to other games, the amount of money and time that went into this game was incredible. Just after the very first day that the game came out, they made a little over $800 million. For a video game, that is amazing, and also somewhat concerning. After seeing the amount of detail and little consequences that are actually shown in the game, many feel that the gamers will begin to start mimicking the gameplay because they feel that nothing will happen to them. Many people do not believe this will happen, but it has already happened. One young man went out after playing this game and attempted to steal a car and start a chase. It did not last long, but it still happened. This shows that games of this type are able to affect the mind of its gamer and cause them to believe that what they are seeing on the screen can actually happen in real life. With all of the details in this game, it is safe to say that the theory of symbolic interactionism is definitely present. What the gamers see on the screen while they play this game can cause them to think that they can do whatever they want because there are no consequences. Since these are possible side effects of playing this game, the creators made the logical decision to make this game rated M for mature, to prevent the younger generation from being exposed to the dramatic violence and immature content that this game holds. This also helps prevent younger gamers from thinking that what they see on the screen can and should be done in real life.